All right, welcome to Sass Bites. This is your weekly bite of Sass during your lunch break. I'm Michael Godbolt, your host. I am currently in my living room, so you get a nice backdrop of cute babies and families and trees. Um, we come here every week to talk about something sassy. You can follow us at Sass Bites on Twitter. Catch us on youtube.com/sassbites. Catch all of our old episodes and everything. What we're doing these last few weeks, this is the last week of it, is our road to SassConf. SassConf is what, next week, October 2nd through 4th, whatever the time that is. Yes, October 2nd through 4th. So it's coming up, it's right around the corner, and we're excited to have on this last episode of the road to SassConf two more speakers. We have, and I'm also in my living room with my daughter over there watching a movie and my wife leaving. So it might be a little bit chaotic day, but that's how it goes. So we have, and I realized, oh, Shay Howe. I was like, did I write last names down? Shay Howe. He's a director of products at Bellycard, designer, front-end developer, the co-organizer of Refresh Chicago and Chicago Camps. I'm assuming he's out in Illinois. Also, the UX Happy Hour out there. Cyclist and cupcake enthusiast Shay Howe. And we also have Kevin Lamping, or Clamping, as you might call him, or as I call him, my arch nemesis. And I'll get to explain that in a second. He's from Antonio, Texas, with wife and a couple kids out there, so I'm sure he'll give a little shout out. He's a front-end engineer focused mostly on AngularJS, and actually he's got a dirty, dark secret that he might tell you later, but I won't reveal that for a moment. Apparently does a lot of gardening though. But I met both. Let's go say hi, Shay, Kevin. How's it going?
Hi. Hello.
So I actually met both of you guys last year in the hills of outside of Denver, Colorado, in a ghost-infested hotel. Um, and Kevin was my arch nemesis because we get there and we meet each other. We're little speakers, and we're like, "Hey, so when's your talk?" Like, whenever Tuesday at 2 or something like that. He's like, "That's the same time as my talk." So we got to enjoy the entire couple days of just harping on each other about stealing each other's audience and whatnot. It was all fun. My talk was better anyway, so it's. It's good.
I would SS DevConf speaker encore award had you not stolen some of my audience.
Very possible.
Just making a note of that.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way about you. So we're going to talk about both Shay and Kevin are talking at SassConf coming up October 2nd, and we wanted to dive into who they are, what they're using preprocessors for, and also a little bit about their talk. So Shay, why don't you give us a quick little history about kind of how you came to preprocessors and Sass and what it does for your workflow specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. I was one of those Sass holdouts. Like, I had heard about the language and everything it was doing and just refused to give into it. But slowly, I kept hearing about it and I got worn down to the idea until I eventually tried it on a side project. And then from there, just fell in love, right? At first, it was variables that I was in love with. Then it moved over to mixins, and now I extends. It's kind of the works. It's a beautiful thing. So now completely engulfed in it. Everything I do is going to be related to Sass. As far as I guess I tell people I don't write CSS anymore. I just write Sass at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm all in.
Awesome. So Kevin, you've got a dirty, dark secret, and that we'll support you and love you regardless. We're an inclusive community.
I appreciate it. I hope so. I hope I don't get turned away at the doors at SassConf because currently I use less for my preprocessor. Nothing against Sass. It was a matter of technology stack. We have a lot of our build processes right now focused on Node.js. We're running Grunt and all of the things that go into there. And while I understand we can get Ruby set up to have Sass, and I believe somebody's going to correct me at some point and say, you can do it in Node.js with all of that. Well, right now less is working, so we have that set up, and we don't use Ruby for any of our server environments, so it was kind of a let's stick with Node for as much as we can. And but my story as far as how I got into preprocessors, was a few years back, kind of hearing, hey, there's this cool preprocessor that allows you to do variables and all sorts of nice stuff, and working in a large enterprise on a big code base like that immediately perked my ears, going, this could really help us organize and get better. So I looked into Sass and less. I looked more into the less side of things because they're like trying to bring in, at my previous job, trying to bring in new technology was extremely difficult, especially on the front end side, because it was very much a server-side environment kind of focus shop. So I tried to get less there, but I failed at convincing people on the point of like, this could be really beneficial. They're like, oh, we have to learn another language. I'm like, it's not really a new language. It's just a little bit extra stuff, but I'm now happily using it day to day. And I think the other question was, how has it changed the way I work? I mean, it's just a lot more organized as far as your CSS files go, or your less files go. I love, if it were simply just the nesting part of it, I would still love it, because it really helps organize the code versus just all on the same line with longer selectors and stuff. So
No doubt.
That's my story.
Cool. Well, let's jump into the talks then, because we've got a lot to go through today. Shay, and actually it's kind of interesting because both of your talks are awesome, for one. I'm looking forward to hopefully catching them on video, because there are actually two parts of what I'm going to be talking about at CSS DevConf, which is the idea of styles and documentation and regression testing. So it's like actually two parts of my talk, so it's really perfect. So Shay, let's talk about yours first. The title of your talk is Style as a Service, which that's the first time I've heard that, and I love that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of S's and A's and
has alliteration, right?
I like it. So Style as a Service, maintaining style across multiple websites, and this is actually a great topic. I think even our previous speaker had some experience with this. So there's a lot of stuff going on with this. So tell me about what your talk is going to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, let me apologize. My light went out. I'm in an office where the light is on a motion detector, so evidently I don't move enough. So
up and down, up and down.
No, it's the old ghost coming back to haunt you.
It may turn back on any second, so who knows? Be aware of that. But no, my talk is it's kind of a case study of what we've been doing at Belly. We work inside of like a SOA architecture, right? So software as a service, and we've been building up new apps left and right, and all those apps we just simply started to duplicate our styles across them, and it's very apparent which is the last app we actually worked on. Excuse me, software as an software-oriented architecture. I got to back up. I think I said software. So service-oriented architecture. Sorry.
We don't judge. It's okay.
I was thinking about that. I was like, I just said software. So sorry. Anyways, as we build new websites, we're building those all on new code bases, and we've gotten smart as far as how we modularize the back end. But we wanted to get smarter on how we actually did that with some of our styles. And as I was saying, it was always very apparent what we had most recently done because it had looked the best, right? And our brand looked well represented. Our style guide was most in tune with those products, and it was becoming cumbersome, right? Because things are starting to get bloated and become a mess. So we started to break things down and build out style as a service. For us, we primarily use a Ruby backend. So we created a Ruby gem, which we use all of our styles in. Gets pulled down into these projects, and from there we can set different variables, and those variables are actually coming into the project. So we have those raw variables or raw extends and mixins to actually write these styles with. And when it comes time to change the style of a button, we make that update in one place and watch it populate across all the apps at once. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, a bit about how we came to that conclusion, how we set it up and architected, what the organization of that is, how it's documented, and there's just some tricks and tips of how, where we've stumbled over our feet and sort of crashed and burned, and hopefully people can yield that light and be like, yeah, we don't want to do that. As well as things that we've found incredibly useful, right? Things that we actually did well that we want to share. So that's the idea.
Awesome. Yeah, it's incredibly topical because we're actually looking to do the exact same thing right now with a current project I'm on. It's like we want to make these components that are shareable with other sites around the community, and we want to make sure they're like we could actually distribute them and version them, and it's crazy. It kind of seems like a lot of people are converging on some of these same hot topics. And
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
I might be bugging you afterwards to ask you some questions about workflow.
No, it's totally fair. As I know, like when I like proposed the idea of a talk, and it was accepted. Since then, I think like the last 2 or 3 months, like I keep seeing like this same sort of like concept or talk like pop up, and every time I'm like, yeah, all right, we're all on the same page here. So it's interesting to hear everyone's different approach to it, though.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that is certainly something to look forward to. That's Style as a Service, maintaining style across multiple websites. So Kevin Stock, you are going to be talking about an introduction to UI regression testing. And for the people out there that don't know what in the world is that, and why in the world do we need it, can you give us a quick skinny on your talk?
Sure, and it's actually a workshop versus a talk, so
great.
it's a little bit more content to get through, but it is a way to kind of validate that the changes that you make to your Sass, or your less, for those less enlightened folks out there, that they don't break your page. Like when you get to a site that is 200 pages big or 1,000 pages large, like a blog or something, it becomes virtually impossible to manually regression test and check the design on every single thing. And even on a 5-page site, it's easy to glance over something. I don't know if you've ever seen those. There's like it's like the word is slipping out of my mind, but there's like these pictures and they'll flash, and then one little detail you have to figure out like what little detail it is. And so it's like a lake, and there's like a tree branch missing from the front of the picture, but because it flashed, your mind has like completely lost all context of it. So anyway, our minds are really bad at doing this. So the idea is what type of tools can we put in place to help us out here? Micah, I know you several weeks back, I guess, maybe, I don't remember when it was, but you did have a Sass Bites on this exact topic. And I'm pretty much going to steal all of your content and expand it out to fill 4 hours. So
I demoed 4 different regression tests in a matter of 1 Sass Bites. It was pretty freaking awesome.
So I plan on covering 3 different tools. We got Wraith, DiffUX, or Diffuse. Did you ever figure out which one it was?
I think, well, they have a pronunciation guide on there. I think it's DiffUX, but they both sound cool. So it's all
I kind of like Diffuse. I don't know. So that and Phantom CSS. So kind of cover the pros and cons of each of them.
Because they all 3 of them do very different things. Like they have a very like specific kind of use case and workflow and whatnot. So those are going to be 3 good ones.
And even time commitment. Like Wraith, I find is just, if you want dead simple, just go with Wraith, and it goes. So I'll be covering that, doing lots of hands-on stuff. So giving maybe a 10 or 15-minute explanation and saying, let's go, here's an example, let's go break stuff and see if it's beneficial. Because what I'm trying to do is just get some momentum behind it, because I think there's a lot of possibilities out there for this area to grow, and just to get people more knowledgeable of it and start using it is really what's important.
Yeah, the more people that start using it, the more people that get into those issue queues and start contributing. And I know I started using Wraith a bit, and one of the things that I didn't like was their gallery was like really, really simple. Like you click on an image and it just opens a JPEG. I'm like, we could do better than that. So I actually wrote a little bit of like, click on it, does a little like box, and it allows you to like toggle between the different views. And I need to contribute that back. So hopefully there's other people out there that get inspired as well to get out there and start contributing to these projects and pushing these projects forward. Because I agree, I'm working at redhat.com right now, and it's a huge site, like thousands of pages, especially when you start to get into like multiple translations. So for us to be able to regression test visually, there's no way to do it that's not automated. But we've got to have an automated process for that. So
and my biggest fear is like not making a change and breaking something, but holding off from making changes because you're just too afraid to break something, and then nothing ever gets fixed because you're just too afraid to make a change and stuff. So
and it's the same problem of like we can't get rid of that code because we don't know if there's still something using that code. Like there's no way to test if that code is like going to have an impact and effect to take it out, then you're stuck with float for like however long. You just pretty much have to tear the whole thing down and start over again. So, yes,
Yeah.
it's a big pillar. So that's pretty awesome.
The
So
House of Cards.
The House of Cards, yes. So let's talk about SassConf. Again, it's October 2nd through 4th, which is, I can't remember, is it Monday? Is it over the weekend? It's like Thursday.
It's Thursday through Saturday, right?
Okay, so it's a week from today?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I can't do math sometimes. So a week from today, you guys are going to be out in New York. Have you been in New York before?
I have, yeah.
So, I see that Kevin's shaking his head no. So Shay, you've been out there before. What are you looking forward to in New York? Is there a certain like spot you got to go eat, spot you got to grab a drink or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. It's kind of funny. Last year, before the first SassConf, I was out there for Future Web Design. So Gina and Berman and a few of us, we went to this restaurant called Fatty Q in Brooklyn and had barbecue.
Nice.
And it was like one of the best like briskets I've ever had. And I just looked it up like earlier today, and I noticed that they're closed. So I'm pretty bummed out. I don't know what to do.
It's too bad that's the only barbecue place in all of New York. So
well,
you're probably out of luck.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I always try and make it over to Shake Shack. I like some Shake Shack.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what are you looking forward to the most at the convention? Like, was it a talk or an event or like meeting certain people? Shay, what's your main like excitement for the conference?
I don't know, like the whole thing. Really, I don't know that I have one specific thing. Like the community itself is wonderful. Obviously, the speakers are fantastic. They're great. So I'm excited to hear all the talks. Like they're incredibly applicable to what I do. So I know that I'm going to learn a ton from these people. But generally just hanging out, doing some of the unconference stuff, going to Kevin's workshop, like that type of stuff I'm pretty excited about. So I don't know.
Cool.
I don't have one thing. I think the whole thing together is going to what makes it.
So Kevin, what about you? Did you go? I assume you didn't go to SassConf last year, right?
No. Nope. And the farthest northeast I've been is maybe Louisville or North Carolina. I don't know. I haven't been up there. It's like this
Awesome.
far off place, big city. I'm living in San Antonio. I mean, it's a big city, but I grew up in the country, kind of, and so I'm not that much of a city boy. So it's going to be a little weird being there and big lights.
Well, they'll take you under their wing.
Right.
You'll leave there using Sass. It's completely.
That's actually, that's one of the things I would look forward to is trying to see if I can be convinced to put in the effort to switch over because I feel like just from what I've heard, like Sass is has more features, a bigger feature set than less. It's just a matter of how to use that features in my day-to-day work. So this from a sorry, you were going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, and definitely check out libsass as well. If you haven't heard, libsass can totally be run on a JavaScript stack. So if because that certainly was a concern a number of years ago because Ruby was the only way to do it. But the libsass movement has completely changed that. It's not completely up to all the newest features and newest version, but it still has pretty much most of the features that you're going to need to start out with, and it does run in JavaScript.
Awesome.
So I
will check
cool.
that out. So yeah, things like that.
Yes, the conversion process. We'll have a big ceremony. We'll burn your old code and. I was kidding.
Oh, I'm always happy to burn my old code. Like get rid of it. I don't want to see it anymore.
I burn mine on a daily process. So Kevin and Shay, appreciate you guys coming on. It's awesome to get a chance to see you guys again, as it's been almost a year now.
Yeah.
Shay, I asked you a favor to bring up a SassMeister page. And I'm going to do that here real quick. And a quick a kind of announcement, heads up, and also just taking care of business is SassConf this year actually has some great sponsorship, and some of it's I think it's kind of actually new. They're now being underwritten by Heffler and Company as well as IBM. So just a couple of small guys, as well as some silver level sponsor of Oddbird, who is the creator of Suzy, which we've had Eric. Well, Eric is part of Oddbird, and Eric's created Suzy. There we go. He's been on the show before, as well as Maker Square, which is where Gina, is that right? I know there's another connection there. Anyway, so they have also several other sponsors, and Hathor & Co. apparently decided to sponsor a party karaoke yacht. Yes, party karaoke yacht. So
And
they're actually
you're not coming, Mike?
I know. I might have to change it now. It's crazy. So that's going to be pretty epic, and I expect lots of crazy pictures that maybe not be able to share to the complete public. So it should be quite interesting. So everyone, have fun out there. Be safe. Stay on the boat. Those kind of things. But what we are going to do is because of SassConf, because of the sponsors, because of all of this, we have the opportunity to give away a hoodie. An awesome hoodie that I've not even seen yet, but apparently it's going to be amazing. So if you want to jump over that, Sassmeister.
I'm here.
All right. And so what we do, here we go, let me bring you up. We took all the names from the retweets. We put them, because of course this is Sass, we've got to use Sass to pick a name, right? And so I've got a list. I was going to use a map, but I was like, who cares? It's just a list. We have a list of all the Twitter handles. I am checking the length of that, so I'm not having to plug in an arbitrary number. Check the length of that list with the number of entries in the list, and then we're going to do a random function and pull the nth number from that list. Boom, Sass. All right. So if you want to go ahead and uncomment that, and we'll grab our winner.
All right.
And that's quite the interesting program. 247365. I get it. That's cool. That's a good name.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was like, wait, was that an error of some sort? Nope, that's Twitter. So program 247365. You just won a hoodie. So thanks so much. I'll tweet at you instructions. Basically, just need to send an email over to SassConf. But they're aware of that as well, and they'll get that hoodie sent out to you. So thanks again for everyone coming, for sticking around for this Road to Sass Fights. Again, I mean, next Thursday, a week from now, they're going to start up and kicking it and having fun. So I wish I was there. It's going to be awesome. Again, thank you, Shay. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin, you're now not my arch nemesis. I think I can call you good friends. And Shay, you've just always been awesome, so it's all good. But thanks, guys, and we will see everyone. I think I can do Sass Fights next week. We'll see. I haven't decided what we're going to do yet. Maybe I'll do something. Yeah, I'll figure out something. I don't want to say it now because then I'll probably have to go back on it. So catch you next week, guys, or in a couple weeks once everything settles down. So thanks again, and I'll catch you later.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.